Today is the first day of the rest of your life, and your future planning started yesterday. You need simple, easy strategies to create maximum results. This is the Scottie Show. Time to get your ducks in a row with Scott Leonardi, owner and president of Complete Solutions, Inc. As a certified financial fiduciary with 25 years in the planning industry, Scott helps educate you on how you can make the best decisions for your family and your finances, and helps you get your ducks in a row for your incredible future. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to the Scottie Show with Scott Leonardi. Scott, how are you?
I am doing fabulous awesome. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I'm super excited for you, the listening audience. This is Scott's very first podcast. We call this his inaugural podcast. And I'm going to ask him about 20 questions or so. Some of them a little bit about history and his business. And then the second half of this podcast is really going to be kind of digging into his personal life and asking him some of those questions so you can get to know him. So I'm pretty excited. Scott, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to rock and roll, man.
Let's do this. All right. So how did you get into financial services specifically? Tell us a little bit about your history.
Well, ironically, I've been in the restaurant business for years prior to the insurance world, and I always wanted to be in a situation where I can get out there and help people and really control what I do. And as I was growing up, my parents went through multiple divorces. My mom was a kind of a single mom raising 7 kids. So I don't want to say boo-hoo, we were poor, but boo-hoo, we were poor. and unfortunately, my father was an alcoholic and had some serious issues there. Passed away since now, obviously, but. My mom was such a strong woman, and she really she supported me, and I was just looked really up to her. And she went through a couple serious struggles with finances that I noticed as a kid, but she never really tried to let me notice. Mm-hmm. And I always thought to myself, you know what? My mom should have known some other things. She should have been educated on some other things that probably would have kept her out of that situation. Back time up 26, 30 years, 35 years ago, I don't think the financial education was as prevalent out there for people to get a hold of. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think anybody talked to her about financial planning and that kind of stuff. So I always thought, when I grow up, I want to help people. I want to help them understand some of this stuff. Ironically, went into the restaurant industry for quite a few years, helping mm-hmm. people, right, fill their bellies. But then I really said, you know what, I really need to get into what I was thinking about. And then again, just kind of a planning situation, help people plan. It's important to plan, and people need to do that. So that's kind of led me into I actually answered an ad with an insurance company, and I thought, you know what, this is kind of the path I kind of wanted to take. So, and the rest, they say, is obviously history. But I really wanted to get involved just because of a really need to help people plan.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were fulfilling needs either way. Restaurant, you're fulfilling a need, and this, you're fulfilling a need. So, for sure. Plus, like you said, back in the day, there wasn't Google. There wasn't, you just couldn't access all the information we have today. So I love the fact that you're all about education and helping people get through things. So keeping that in mind, who do you work with and kind of what's your specialty?
Well, I really wanted to get involved with the retiree or the post-retiree. These folks that work hard their whole entire life, they build up assets, they build up savings, and then in many cases they just don't know when they can retire. They feel uncomfortable retiring, wondering if they're going to run out of money, before they run out of life. Mm-hmm. And they've worked hard building that nest egg. And I don't think there's enough information to help people really transcend into retirement properly. So I really wanted to work with the retiree. Now, with that said, I first got involved in the insurance business 26 years ago and really started with Medicare. Started helping people understand their health care at 65. And of course, that really led into really starting to work with really the 50-plus person to get them more prepared as they get closer and closer, to retirement. So that's kind of like pretty much the biggest chunk of our business. And of course, we also help our clients' children, younger people too. But the bulk is really the 50-plus industry.
Gotcha. So if you had to describe it, what do you do for your clients specifically?
Well, I developed this holistic planning approach. And so many times in the industry today, I see people that, insurance planners might get out there and help a person with their Medicare. Maybe they'll help them with some life insurance. Some of the financial guys, they just do the money. Well, my philosophy is, listen, you have to have a holistic approach to retirement planning. It's like anything, right? If you were taking care of your car and all you did was put gas in it and that's it, guess what? You're going to have an oil problem and a tire mm-hmm. problem and all these other problems. So you have to look at it holistically and say, what do I need to do to take care of my car? Well, that's the same thing with retirement planning. So I come up with this holistic approach, and I've been doing that for like 26 years now. Today, holistic is, kind of starting to become a buzzword, holistic. But when I sit down with people, I say, let's talk about your health. Let's talk about your medications you have to take. Let's talk about your estate planning type needs with final expense. Long-term care is a big issue with retirees. It's a way that it can destroy assets very quickly. And then, of course, also some investment planning. How do we preserve those dollars that you saved your whole entire life to accumulate? So by doing that process, I prepare a variety of different reports that allow somebody to look at everything from on a spreadsheet and say, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where I think I can go. And then it's time to take a look at that and do the tweaks we need to get people on focus. And as I always say, to get your ducks in a row, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. You described your clients a little bit earlier. Is there anything else you would add to really describe your ideal client?
People have asked me that numerous times before. Who's your ideal client? And you know what? And I don't want to sound too generalistic here, but my ideal client is anybody I can help. Mm-hmm. I mean, realistically, we have clients in our agency that they are just they're part of the Medicaid system, Medicaid welfare, and they don't have two nickels to rub together. But they need some support. They need help with their medications. They need those stuff the proper health plan. Mm-hmm. They need to figure out how to access those benefits they need because they are low income. So we're excited to help that person. And then again, everything up to, we've got millionaires in our agency that need to focus and preserve those assets and move them on, to the next generation. So The ideal client for us really is anybody we can truly help.
Yeah, that is kind of a wide category. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that answer.
Yeah.
So how do you acquire these new clients?
Well, a variety of different ways to actually introduce ourselves to the community. I'm a big believer in education. Mm-hmm. Education is my mantra, right? You hear a lot of these old adages out there. And my grandma used to always say one that drove me crazy. She used to say, Scott, what you don't know won't hurt you. And I'm thinking, Lord have mercy, what a bunch of junk that is, right?
Yeah,
a lot of these old adages hurt. A lot of these old adages hurt people crazy. What you don't know will absolutely hurt you, right?
Yeah.
Education is our big mantra. So we do a variety of, obviously that we're dealing with the COVID situation kind of going on now, but prior to that, we've done a lot of educational seminars. We partnered with a group. It's a nonprofit educational service where we provide educational approaches and seminars to, Social Security planning, how to maximize your Social Security and Medicare and retirement planning issues. So we do a lot of seminars. We offer a variety of different webinars. I've got multiple websites to help people become educated. And that's probably some of our biggest ways, but then we're pretty active with the community too. So
yeah. So beyond that, I mean, that obviously that would draw people in, and you'd be able to figure out if you can work with them or not, if it's a good fit, and if it's somebody that you can help. But what about clients? Do you do any ongoing client education?
Yeah, that's an important area too, is taking care of our clients. A lot of times in the insurance industry or the planning industry per se, a client comes along, they join a planner, and everything sounds great for the first month and a half, 2 months, and then after that, the client never hears from the insurance person or planner ever again, right? Unless they're calling. And I truly believe that if that client's going to trust us with helping them with their products or services or some of their investments, that we need to be an active part of their life. So we do multiple client events. We're here in Dayton. We got our minor league team, the Dayton Dragons. So we usually have multiple baseball events. We have client appreciation events. So we do cookouts. We actually have shred events. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, we do some shred events, and they were looking at me like, what the heck's a shred event? I'm like, okay, let me explain that further.
I know
we're not
exactly
going to shred you.
That's right.
Let me explain that a little bit further. Yeah. So we actually bring a big shred truck into the parking lot. Have clients come in and bring all their documents that they need to shred. I actually personally grill hot dogs and hamburgers, and my staff, make salads and plates for people. And so we feed them as they're coming through shredding their documents. And so we do have multiple events like that. I think it's crucial. Again, to appreciate your clients, they're bringing you business. You gotta get love back to the clients, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you and I've spoken many times before this, before today, before this recording. I know that you're fantastic, but I know you can't do this alone. So who's on your team? Yeah, what are they doing?
Mr. Fantastic.
That's right.
Yeah, I tell you what, I am crazily blessed. I really have an awesome team. And I'm not just saying that I have a crazy awesome team. Everybody who calls our office tells me that. I get compliments all the time. Not me personally, but my staff gets compliments all the time. My wife, Melissa, there's a variety of last name Leonardis in our agency, so a little nepotism going on there, I guess.
Just a wee bit, yeah.
Just a wee bit. But my wife, Melissa, incredible woman. She, ironically, she comes from a lot of the working for actually insurance companies. So inside the insurance company, doing rates and coming from that side of the house, right? And of course, I came from the educational and sales side in the insurance planning industry. So when we got married, it was a great mix because so she can, I can get mad why stuff's not getting done by the underwriters, and she tells me why they're not getting done.
Yeah.
But she actually helps get them fixed. So she's a wonderful source. Of course, she's a licensed agent too. So clients love her, and she's a great support staff. My son Michael actually works for the agency. He's a licensed planner with me. Good to have. He's my oldest son. I got 5 kids.
Nice.
I've got 5 kids. I got a herd. So I got 3 boys. My oldest is 30. He works for me. And I got a 26-year-old, 24-year-old. Those are 3 boys. And my daughter, 19, Madison. She actually works for me. She's one of our staff members here. She's been working for me a couple months now. Excited to have her with me. And then of course my youngest is Melania. She's my 9-year-old. Right? Nice family staff there too, right? And actually, my 9-year-old works in here too. Sometimes she's putting envelopes, postage stamps on and things like that. So it's kind of cool. And then I got a couple other folks. Kim, she's usually our front communications person, and she deals a lot with customers. Customers just absolutely love her. Tiara is the same way. Tiara's been with me for I think 4 years now, maybe,
Great.
and just a great support staff. So, and I got several other people, part-time people, but yeah, I got a wonderful staff. Incredibly lucky and blessed to have the staff I have. That's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. And obviously, with that many people, that many kids, you've got a baseball team. I'm assuming you have something set up to some sort of sports team in the community.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I coach my daughters. I've coached my boys softball.
There you go.
7-8 years of boys softball. Now, just this year, I'm back into the game. Actually, boys were baseball, but I'm back into the game now. We set our first practice yesterday for my daughter Melania. So
Awesome.
I'm coaching 9-year-olds in softball. It's kind of like herding cats.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, my
This
wife
is
did
home
it,
plate.
God bless her,
home
yeah.
plate. We're going home already.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I was blessed to be able to coach my son's baseball team. My wife coached my daughter's softball team, and I helped her. And it was a whole different ball game, really, between the boys and the girls. But it was fun either way. So, what else do you guys do in the community? You as your company or as a family?
Kind of both. We try to get the company involved in a variety of different things. My daughter goes to a Troy Christian School up in Troy, Ohio. So we're active with the school.
Nice.
Belong to different other community organizations. Of course, now with COVID going on, less things are going on in that type of community. But on a personal nature, and then going from our company, we actually have done a lot of residential events. Meaning we go into retirement communities and we go in and do bingo nights and birthday nights and try to get into a retirement center and just get them people more active, help them understand there's somebody that you can call if you got a question, that kind of stuff. Not, hey, there's somebody to sell you some more insurance, but people sometimes need an answer. And let's face it, you try to call into Medicare, trying to call into Social Security. I mean, those people are working hard, crazy, inundated, but you can't get an answer from those people hardly at all. It's very tough. So we want to be an access point to the community to say, hey, listen, I got a question. Who can I ask that can give me a decent answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to be very active.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. People have questions, right? And one of the things that most people do these days is go to Google and they're going to search and they're going to do the best they can, but it's tough. And anybody who has searched for advisors, financial advisors or insurance agents or anything like that has seen a ton of different acronyms, all sorts of letters, right, behind people's names. And it gets a little confusing. So what designations or advanced education do you have? And can you kind of describe that for us?
Well, Eric, it's really funny that you say something about acronyms. I met with one of my clients' brothers a couple weeks ago just to review some planning strategies that he had implemented several years ago. And when I was looking over kind of what he was told to do, I was kind of blown away. It was very overly complicated, confusing, redundant, and therefore, in my opinion, very ineffective. So I looked at the guy's business card that actually gave him this recommendations, and he had like 5 sets of initials past his name. So it's kind of funny. So the moral of the story is just because the more acronyms you have at the end of your name doesn't necessarily mean you're very effective at helping people. So with that said, I teach simple, strategic effective concepts that actually create results. Because let's face it, everything happens on easy, right? Easy gets things done. So my last 25 years experience as being a licensed insurance professional, I've completed numerous trainings and certifications, ongoing yearly, annual trainings to become very effective at helping people plan and protect themselves. And of course, I'm a certified financial fiduciary and a member of the National Association of Financial Fiduciaries. And of course, in addition to that, I really spent the last several years putting together a team of planners, because I think a team of planners makes sense. So we have a veteran specialist, long-term care specialist, stock bond, managed money type specialist, accountant, attorneys. We've got an elder law attorney. As a matter of fact, we've got a couple of attorneys on our team. So with that team of planners, it really helps us put together stuff and be very effective at what we do. So I would say, we have some top shelf experience to help people with their needs. So.
Well, Scott, that was easy, right? I mean, that was the first half of this podcast. It was, a little bit about your history and got to know why you do what you do, and I appreciate that. Now we're going to get into some personal questions. You okay with that?
Fun. Personal time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's not talk about work. When you're done working, what do you do for fun, man?
What do I do for fun? Well, 5 kids. It's always fun in the household, right?
That's right.
That's always kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
I sleep. That's right. But, I Google.
That's right.
When you mentioned Google earlier, everybody uses Google as the the holy grail of every single piece of information. But it's funny. But no, I love the outdoors. All my kids, I've helped them understand the need of getting out there outdoors and seeing stuff. We'll play baseball. I love the lake. I love going boating.
Nice.
We have 2 Doberman pinchers, Duke and Boss. We used to have Duke and Delilah, but Delilah unfortunately passed away. So love getting out, go taking the dogs for a walk, and really just love kind of doing outside stuff, especially with the kids. So
awesome.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm a dog guy myself, so that is fantastic.
Yeah, and not that we're against cat people. Yeah,
no, we don't want to isolate any part of the audience.
My wife loves cats. Cats.
Scott's wife loves cats. Yeah.
My wife loves cats. And I'm not saying I don't love cats, but my dogs are not necessarily cat lovers.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really mix, 100-pound Doberman, a 10-pound cat. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
little disclaimer. We like cats.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All pets. If you have a potbelly pig, we love pigs.
Yeah, we'll love potbelly pigs. Exactly
right. All right, Scott. Hey, who's your hero? If you had to say this person is my hero, or this is somebody that I've looked up to, or this is my mentor, who would you say?
Sounding 100% sincere, I have to say one of my biggest mentors was my mom. And ironically, she just worked her whole entire life really caregiving for us kids, and we didn't have anything hardly. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
She was always strong, very hard worker, and I think that really put the work ethic into me, and I was really able to transcend that on to my 5 kids. And my 5 kids are, even my little 9-year-old, I mean, they're hard workers. They want to get out there and help people. They want to be sincere with people, and they want to get stuff done. So I think my mom's probably one of the top people, and I love entrepreneurs. Norman Vincent Peale, another great individual. His whole focus was, he was a minister. His whole focus was to really teaching people to be positive in life, looking at life from a positive venue. Your mind controls stuff, and if you can change some of those thoughts, you can change who you are, what you become, and how you perform. So I love listening to folks. He's passed away now, but. Folks like him and Jim Rohn and some of those planners who really are some of those people who really help you think positive. Too many negative things in life. You got to think positive, man. Move forward. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of positive, wouldn't it be nice if you just woke up tomorrow morning and you had like $10 trillion in your bank account? That'd be great.
10 trillion.
10 trillion. I just picked that number out of a hat here.
Yeah. That's a great number. That's a great number.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll
help pay off part of the national debt. Maybe I'll help. I'll throw a trillion in. Yeah.
Would you really?
Not really, though.
Okay. Well, if you had that 10 trillion, what would you do?
What would I do with 10 trillion? Man, that's a lot of money. I do love giving back. I love helping the community. We do a lot with church and a lot of different groups that we belong to. So many people out there are hurting, and I think educational is a big process. I think unfortunately handouts. I mean, there's places for handouts, and people need help on a regular basis. But I think more educational needs to happen. More processes like that. So I would start a foundation where we can help educate people. I mean, there's some people out there that have done some educational training classes, which are great, but sometimes you just can't afford that. And it's like, well, spend $3,000 for our training program because you'll make it up in the end. Well, sometimes people don't have $3,000 to start to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a big part about what I do, helping people become educated on what can affect them and hurt them. I think that would be a wonderful thing to do.
That would be great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, what's your idea of success?
I think my idea of success is to be able to truly be free. And what I mean by be free, I mean be able to not worry about bills. And I don't mean you have to be stinking wealthy on that, but I'm just saying to not have to worry about bills, to be able to manage your finances properly. And I try to install this in my kids all the time. You've got to save money. You got to spend money that you have, not spend money that you're borrowing off of a credit card. But just to have the comfortable cash flow. And as I teach people, when we talk about retirement planning, and especially get closer to retirement planning, that's the biggest thing we try to figure out. What expenses do you have? Where can we cut some of those expenses? What's your cash flow coming in, right? Because I don't think retirement's about a big pile of money. I mean, sometimes people think, you hear this thing out there, some planners say, oh, you have to have $750,000 to retire. You got to have $1.2 million. You got to have this, you got to have that. I don't necessarily think it's a big pile of money, even though everybody would love to have a big pile of money, right? But it's really about those guaranteed checks coming in the door. And if you're managing and controlling your finances, the outflow, and you got more inflow coming in, that's a beautiful thing. Yep. So just to be free from having debt collectors chasing you, being comfortable in that capacity, I think that's a pretty cool place to be. And with that, guess what? Money's not everything, but when you have the flow and your bills are taken care of now, you can get out there and truly help people. When your bills are taken care of, your debts are taken care of now, you can truly get out there and help people. And that's where the joy is, helping people. That's just kind of where it's at. So, but you got to take care of your own stuff first, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. All right. This is kind of a different question for you. What is one thing you recommend most to clients, family, and friends? And I don't care what it is. It could be a pizza topping. It could be a book. It could be exercise. I don't know. What's the one thing that you recommend most?
The one thing I recommend most, man, I think it just always kind of boils back to that holistic thought. That holistic thought. I think taking care of your health is crucially important. Taking care of your finances is crucially important. You know what I recommend the most? Be positive. Look at life positively. So many people get so whipped up on negative. We worry about so much stuff that never comes to pass, right? Yeah. I mean, so people just need to relax. I mean, be focused, be aggressive, go do what you got to do to take care of your family. But you know what? Let some of that stuff go. Not worry about some of that stuff and stay focused on the positiveness. I love positive books. As I mentioned, Norman Vincent Peale wrote a lot of great, positive, uplifting books. And I think your mental health controls everything. It controls everything. Your relationships, your finances, your health. Positive. Be positive.
Yeah. I when you said that, I immediately thought of this old, I don't know what show it was. It could have been Saturday Night Live. It could have been one of these other shows that does kind of like parody things. And they had a newscast, and everything in the newscast was positive. I just thought it's ironic, and it was funny because they put a lot of humor in there, but it's ironic that that's the parody, right? Yeah. Positive news is the parody. Why isn't positive news the norm, right? I mean, because that doesn't sell, right? They have to say at 4:00 in the afternoon, they have to say 10 things in your fridge that can kill you tonight at 10:00 because they want you to come back at 10, right?
They'll absolutely be there for that, Yeah, something positive. They think, no. But it's kind of funny. People say, I got to see it to believe it. Well, if you never see it, you're never going to believe it to begin with, right? I mean, you got to look at things positively, but it's kind of funny. But nobody says, and people say that's too good to be true. You hear that all the time. That's too good to be true. Why? Why is it too good to be true? There's lots of great, wonderful things in life. Yeah. I mean, you never hear somebody say, Eric, that's horrible. That is just too horrible to be true. No, if it's horrible, you'll believe it, right? It seems kind of crazy.
Totally happened. Totally happened. Yeah.
Like totally happened. Yeah.
My cousin's brother's half sisters. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's not too good to be true, baby. I'm bringing it to you. That's why it's good. Live on the Scottie Show today. Ooh.
That's right. All right. Now, this is my favorite question I'm going to ask you of the entire interview. You have to answer it. I'm not letting you slide on this one. You ready?
No slide?
No slide.
Okay,
Scott,
here we go.
What is one thing that most people don't know about you?
One thing that most people... I can't tell you that. That everybody will know. What do you mean? One thing
it's the first podcast. There's 10 of us listening. Come on.
One people... Yes, that's right. 10,000, right? What most people don't know about me. I love to raise chickens.
What? Really?
How do you like that? It's crazy. I know it's crazy. It's kind of funny. I was sitting at an insurance conference one time, and that's what we did. We're trying to get to know all the regional managers, right? And we had to put little notes on here, put something like that. And I wrote, I have, it was supposed to, and when everybody had to vote, was it whether it's true or whether it was true or false, right? And I put I own chickens, and of course nobody. Oh, that's true. Everybody said no. And I said, yeah. It's just kind of crazy. I love chickens. I love chickens walking around my front yard. Now, they don't really walk around my front yard. I don't do free range chickens, but I love having fresh eggs. I love to hear the rooster crow in the morning. Isn't that crazy? My wife hates it. And we live in a nice area. We have 5 acres and a little bit. But we don't live out in the country on a farm. But when the rooster crows, I just think that's the coolest darn thing ever. Isn't that nuts?
That's fantastic.
I like chickens. There you go.
That is too funny. Oh,
Too funny.
I would not have expected that answer. I'll be 100% honest.
Well, hey, listen, I gotta keep you guessing here, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Shock and all, baby. Shock and all. Shock and all. That's right.
All right. So obviously, you spoke about your wife earlier. I don't know how she handles the electricity and the energy that comes off of you on a daily basis. Because
I think she shuts down. She shuts down. It's funny. My wife's 13 years younger than me, and so you think
that's why.
I told my wife that I'm going to marry a younger woman so she can keep up with me, and she kind of laughed. But now it's kind of funny. She gets up and runs early in the morning, and then by 8 o'clock she's like, okay, I'm about ready to go to bed. I said, baby, it's 8 o'clock. What are you doing? And I can be up till 1 o'clock. It's just kind of crazy. It's all about go.
Yeah.
So I think she just sleeps. That's how she just shuts off. That's how she does it.
Well, there you go. So I don't know if you ever have a down day, but if you do, if you have a moment where you're like, man, maybe you heard some bad news, or maybe you're just down a little bit that day. Is there a mantra or motto or something that you say to yourself to help you keep on focus or get back on track?
Oh, somebody told me this a long time ago, and I don't really remember even who it said. They said, you know what? Yesterday's a cash check, and once the day's over, it's a cash check. It's done. So every day's a new day, right? Start a new day tomorrow. So sometimes, no matter how bleak sometimes things get, or you get upset or mad or whatever, I always got to think, you know what? When midnight happens, 12:01, that starts a new day. Starts a new day. Everything starts over again tomorrow. Boom. That's how it is. So that's how you got to look at it. That's right. That's why I always tell people, listen, when I see them for the first time, or even in one of my meetings or classes, I say, hey, listen, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Because that's today, baby.
That's it.
And tomorrow will be the first day of the rest of your life. That's right. Stay positive. Stay focused, baby.
That's right. It's always a true statement.
It is. Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, this is we're drawn to a close here for this podcast. I mean, this has gone by so quick. What is your proudest achievement?
My proudest achievement, I think it would be my family. I mean, I got 5 awesome kids.
You got a lot to be proud of. Yeah.
Yeah. I got 5. I got a wonderful wife. I got 5 awesome kids, and they drive you crazy. They do all this stuff, and they make mistakes along the way. But you know what? They all learn. Mm-hmm. They all try to refocus and chase that goal. They're all hard workers. Never hard working as dad. I will say that. I run circles around them constantly, and so. But I am proud of my family. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of building the planning service that I have, because we truly do help people, and there's nothing more rewarding than running across somebody who is in desperate need of help, and that whether that's just can't afford their prescription drugs and we help them get help, or a person who retires and they don't think they can retire, but they have a large estate. They just don't think they can retire, and helping them see the end result to that and map it all out and give them that comfort of leaving the office that everything's all mapped out. That's pretty cool stuff. It really is pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. All right. This is our last question. It's kind of a 2-parter here.
Oh, wait, I thought you still told me we already had a last question.
No, we're drawing
You just keep
close.
thinking these things.
That's right.
You keep thinking this stuff up, don't you, Eric?
I got to keep you on your toes. Hey, if you're going to do it to me, I got to do it back.
There we go. That's right.
So this podcast is nationwide, right? This you've got a broad audience. It's going to grow, week by week, month by month. Who should be listening to your podcast? And then kind of give us a sneak peek of what you're going to be talking about on the series.
Well, who should be? I think everybody should be listening, because everybody needs a shot in the arm of positiveness, right? Mm-hmm. They need a little bit of wake up. Everybody needs to get their ducks in a row. I don't care if you got all your ducks in a row or you think you got your ducks in a row. Guess what? Everybody needs a little bit of revisit and a little bit of tweaking, right, to stay focused on their ultimate goal. So I think anybody out there could appreciate that and learn from just a little bit more of a positive focus. So that's part 1 of the question. What was part 2 again? I'm sorry.
Part 2? No, that's great. Part 2 is.
I'm too excited about part 1. Excited about part 1.
What are you going to talk about in this?
What am I going to talk about? Okay, good. I'm glad you asked that question. So again, I think I'm going to spend a lot of time really talking about my holistic approach. Because again, there's so many things you need to focus on to keep a happy, positive, successful future. I think it's just important to kind of fit all those pieces together and get your ducks in a row. So we're going to talk about things like retirement planning and long-term care planning and how that can affect you. I got a couple of friends of mine I want to bring on, talking about, taking care of your house. A couple of things you can do to kind of take care of your house. That's one of your biggest assets. I got another friend who wants to talk about some health issues. Because again, being holistic, it's not just about taking care of your insurance and your drug plan and your life insurance. It's about holistic approaches, which is health, wealth, relationships, all that kind of good stuff. I'm gonna be the Dr. Phil of. I might have violated a trademark. I might have violated a trademark there. I'm gonna be the Dr. Phil of retirement planning. How you like that? Boom.
Dr. Philip. We'll say Dr.
Philip. Yeah, exactly right. Philip. Exactly right. No trademark violations there.
That's right. So I caught you off guard with saying that was last question, but I got another question. You ready?
Here we go. Throw it on me. I got it. So
those that are listening, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, a variety of different ways you can get a hold of me. I do have a wonderful website, and I'm kind of proud of my website. It's duckduckplan.com. duckduckplan.com.
Nice.
You can go there and you can learn a little bit more about kind of what we do. And there's a couple little short videos on there. If you haven't heard me talk enough right now, go to my website. Check me out a little bit. I love when people check me out. I love when people say, I went to your website. I said, you did? Good.
Nice.
I'm excited. All right, check me out. So that's kind of the best place because right from that website, you can actually book a call with me. You can get right on my calendar, want to have a 15-minute call with me? You want to talk about chickens?
Yes.
Book a 15-minute call. Let's talk about chickens, right?
That's right.
You can go right to that website. And, of course, our telephone number, you call me at 866-866, again, 7951, and all that's on the website. So
Perfect.
But get to my website, duckduckplan.com.
duckduckplan.com. Scott, thank you so much for your time today. This is a great podcast, man.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you. Appreciate you stopping by and visiting with me today. Ready to rock and roll.
I look forward to the next one. Our last thank you goes to you, listening audience. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to The Scottie Show with Scott Leonardi. If you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, which I know you haven't because this is the very first one, please click the subscribe now button below. This way, when Scott comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. This makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your friends and family. Again, thanks so much for listening today. For everyone at Complete Solutions, this is Eric Johnson reminding you it's time to get your ducks in a row, unless you're Scott, which means you're going to get your chickens in a row, right? All right.
Ba-bam.
That's
Ba-bam.
right. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Scottie Show. Remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Live life like it's your job. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Complete Solutions, Inc. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice, tax advice, or legal advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.